After the concert, Ingrid and Ray would like to have an open forum and have you ask questions. So, we did this afternoon, and Reynaldo is a very wonderful speaker. So be thinking of your questions as the concert goes along. I'd like to tell you a little bit about these two wonderful people. Ingrid Sala Santamaria is our soloist on piano number 1. She is one of the Philippines' most outstanding pianists. She made her mark in the Philippine music world as the first piano soloist at the Concert at the Park in 1978. In 1991, Ingrid spearheaded the development of the Cebu Youth Symphony Orchestra, and that orchestra went on to become the national orchestra in the southern Philippines. Besides her many accomplishments, Ingrid is a beautiful lady. She has 4 children and 15 grandchildren, which you won't believe when you see her. Maestro Reynaldo Reyes plays the orchestra part on piano 2, and he'll explain that to you. He is a multi-prize winning international pianist based in the United States. He is a recipient of the 10 Outstanding Young Men Award in the Philippines, and he has performed extensively throughout the globe. He comes back regularly to share with his hundreds of students over here, which we're very grateful for. These two kindred spirits have studied together for close to 30 years, I think we figured this out, didn't we? 30 years. They both share a passion for music and a wonderful mission to reach out to as many people as possible and teach them to love music. For this project, Ingrid and Reynaldo take us on a romantic journey to the sentimental lyricism and imaginative creativity of the composers of the Romantic period, such as Beethoven, Brahms, Chopin, Grieg, Liszt, Mendelssohn, Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, to name but a few. Ingrid and her mentor Reynaldo conceptualized the Romantic Piano Concerto Journey Project to present the world to Filipino masterpieces on 2 pianos for the enjoyment and upliftment of all. The team has performed internationally and in the United States, and we are very fortunate that they have come back to Los Angeles on this 10th tour. They share with us their gesture of goodwill and friendship in the hope that, through the magic of their music, boundaries will disappear and musical aspirations will harmonize. Please welcome me and welcoming Ingrid and Reynaldo.
Good evening. Ingrid and I have been doing this since 2001. We decided that we need to help the Filipino people understand how important it is for them to listen to classical music, because there is no other venue in the Philippines for them to do that. And in fact, we are really surprised whenever we go somewhere. It is sometimes they have never seen a piano before. So you can imagine how poor it is culturally as far as music is concerned. But mostly they're poor culturally because they don't know how important it is to listen to classical music. My experience and my studies have made me become aware of the effect of classical music on the unborn children, students, young students, adults, the elderly, the handicapped, the retarded people, crazy people, psychiatric people, autistic children, and so on and so on. And I've been using this music therapy for quite some time, and I have decided that with Ingrid, we will go as far as many and let people hear about it. And at the end of this concert, I hope that you will ask something about it, because it's very interesting. This afternoon, somebody asked me about her grandson who is retarded. And so I talked to her and told her what happened, what my experience with retarded children. And I said, unfortunately, you should have asked me in front of everybody, so the others should have heard the answer. But then she didn't ask me anymore afterwards. That's too bad. But anyway, we will talk about a lot of the effect of the classical music on the brain and why the elderly are requested or advised by their neurologist to attend classical music. If you have a tendency to have Alzheimer's, which you might not know, but maybe in your family it's a tendency, when you listen to classical music, it delays it. If it's going to come, it will be delayed for quite some time. Well, if you don't have the tendency for Alzheimer's, then you're going to live a very happy life because you'll be alert all the time. And which means you might die of something else, but not of Alzheimer's. Anyway, we're going to play concertos for you. And the first thing I think that you have to know is the meaning of the word concerto. This word comes from the Latin verb, it's concertare. Concertare in Latin means to fight and to contend. But many centuries later, it became an Italian word, also the same concertare. In Italian, the meaning is completely opposite. It's to agree and to cooperate. So the word itself has a split personality. And because it has a split personality, when you hear a concerto, you will hear us sometimes we will sound like we're fighting, we're running after each other, and then sometimes it's very harmonious and very beautiful. And that's because it comes from that word, a concertare, and it has split two personalities. The first time the word concerto came about was in the 1600s, specifically at the Church of St. Mark's in Venice, Italy. If you have been there, you would have noticed inside the church it has 4 naves, and each one of the naves had a choir, and the choir would sing against each other. There were 4 naves, there would be 4 choirs, and each one of them sings against each other, 2 against 2, 1 against all of them, 3 against 1, and at the end they all sing together. That style of singing was called concerto. 100 years later, slowly it became that the composers added instruments, and 100 years later, it was not anymore a chorus. It did not mean anymore singing in choirs, but it meant singing with instruments. And Johann Sebastian Bach, a German great composer, made it so that there was a soloist accompanied by the orchestra. And so today, that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear a soloist, Miss Santamaria, and I will be the orchestra with 10 fingers. I'll play for 70 people. And I'll just pretend that I'm the orchestra, because that's really very impossible. I cannot imitate all the instruments on the piano. However, I will be playing the part of the orchestra, and we will give you examples of what a concerto is. A concerto is generally divided into 3 sections. The first movement, the second movement, the third movement. The first movement is usually fast, it's sometimes a little bit slow. The second movement is definitely slow, and the third movement is usually very fast and very brilliant. And we are going to play music by Saint-Saëns, which is the concerto in G minor, and we will play the first movement. The next one is music by Chopin. Second movement of his concerto in E minor, which is slow. And the third movement is from the concerto in G minor by Mendelssohn. It's very, very fast. Not only do we play these concertos from the Romantic period, but we're also playing from 3 different countries. Saint-Saëns is French, Chopin, Polish, and Mendelssohn was German. And then we will end the concert with Rachmaninoff, who is Russian. And in between, we will play 2 Filipino pieces. So I think without further ado, because we don't want to send you home late, we're going to go into the music part, and we'll start with Saint-Saëns G minor concerto, just the first movement.